So this thing I actually forgot about a lot of it until I went through the notes. During breakfast, let's see. During breakfast, Thea went out and scouted for food for the mouse and Gitmo. She found a few things. Finn and Gil talked about Finn's hand and how Finn felt the power of Hiawatha when it was being made. So, as the party traveled, Thea gave the mouse that they found to do Gil's experiment with. Thea named the mouse Nova. And Gil kind of made a little home for Nova in the cart. Did a lot of work with it and made it pretty fancy and built it into the hut, or not hut, cart. During that time, Thea and Sandra went out to hunt a boar. Fun thing with that, Thea's player got the boar pretty low, that it was like 1 HP, and I was kind of hinting at her that she could have Gitmo do an attack or something like that, and she didn't, and, then I told her, yeah, it only had 1 HP. It's kind of, oh, well, yeah, Gitmo would have gotten that. It's kind of, yeah, and he would have been pretty excited too, as a little otter that took down a bear or a boar. Let's see. Gil had found a cauldron in the carrion crawler cage, and was testing that out. Okay. That night I had Finn's hand, like the color of the fur, turned back to normal, but he just would have a scar kind of around the wrist of, having it get secured again. During the next day, the party traveled and got their cart stuck in a hole. As they kind of looked around, they figured out that it was not just like any hole, it was actually a nest of onkegs in the area. So, surprisingly though, with the amount of holes and with where would be a nest, they fought only 2 onkegs. I also think that, let's see, during this battle, Gil used his snake staff. Xandra got unconscious. I think so yeah, Snake ended up using his snake to... Gil used his snake to kill some of the onkegs. Thea killed one of the other ones. Alright, somewhere around there my video cut out. So I'll try to recap, I guess. The cart got its wheel stuck in a hole. The party figured out it wasn't just a hole, it was a nest of onkegs that only had 2 onkegs. After killing the onkegs, Gil using his staff of snake to kill one of the onkegs. Thea killing the other one. The party went down and kind of explored a little bit and dismantled some of the onkegs, getting the the acid gland, some parts of the shell, and finding 6 on-cake eggs. And of course keeping some of the meat. I had this encounter for them to set up that I wanted that this big nest should have had more, and that it was going to be that some of the orcs were catching and trying to tame on-cakes. So later on they'd find that they deride the on-cakes, or just be trying to tame them, or have shields made of the on-cakes, or, you know, weapons of like spears that do some of the acid damage from on-cakes. Stuff like that I was gonna do with the orcs to make it a little more challenging, and kind of showing that the orcs are trying to do stuff as they're kind of gathering around the meteor. But I don't think that actually came about. So I don't think Xantro really showed up that episode or that session. He might have, but I can't really tell. But the party fought on cakes and had some time. It was interesting to have them kind of play whack-a-mole, kind of figuring out which hole they'd come out of, and try for me as a dungeon master to kind of work out the burrowing tactics and where some holes are and things like that. Try to get a little bit better with that, and hopefully I did, but yeah.